Bud, Canelo, done deal. Looks like the fight is signed. What's your thoughts on this fight, man?
Man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right.
I'll be going for Bud. If he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he gonna win or lose, but I'll definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off.
Yeah.
He's facing greatness.
Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are preparing for a high-stakes clash this September for the undisputed super middleweight titles. As excitement builds, predictions are pouring in, but with Crawford moving up 3 weight classes, uncertainty surrounds the outcome.
Oh, Canelo's a stronger guy, the bigger guy, but in the fight with a guy that moves around, and if Crawford uses his skills and his legs and his technique and just his ability.
Renowned boxing analyst Teddy Atlas stirred discussion by not only favoring Crawford, but also deeply analyzing Canelo's career. Speaking with Slingo, Atlas cited Marvin Hagler's famous quote, "It's tough to get up and do road work at 5 a.m. when you've been sleeping in silk sheets." He suggested that Canelo's wealth and fame may have softened his edge, possibly making him less dangerous in the ring.
Overrated?
Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. Really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire. It's in his mind. It's in his makeup.
Atlas revisited Canelo's controversial wins, claiming he didn't deserve the decisions in his first 2 bouts against Gennady Golovkin, and even suggested Erislandy Lara may have outboxed him. Though acknowledging Canelo's immense skill and legacy, Atlas raised the pressing question: is Canelo overrated?
People that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford.
Former heavyweight champion Shannon Briggs has vocally supported Crawford. Known for his trademark, "Let's go champ" energy, Briggs believes Crawford will shock the world, and even hinted he might bet on it, despite rarely backing fighters with such certainty.
Speaking of Canelo, did you catch his past performance, and what did you think?
I always think that Canelo have a good performance, but the last one are not good. Don't look good. His opponent and him don't make entertaining fights, so I don't know, man. I don't like it.
Last thing, since you fought Canelo, how much better?
Veteran trainer Abel Sanchez, who worked with Gennady Golovkin, offered a contrasting view. He warned that weight classes exist for a reason. Crawford is stepping into a world where power and size dominate. Sanchez noted that Canelo has never looked intimidated even against naturally bigger punchers.
Bud. Who you like in this fight?
Canelo.
Why? Because Bud had to move up 3 classes?
Yes. And in the history of boxing, I've never seen anybody move up 2 classes and be successful.
Well, Roy did.
I mean, but not in one jump. Not in one leap.
Right.
It was a here,
right.
Light, heavyweight, fight a few fights, right. Okay, heavyweight. We talking about he just fought 147.
UBO junior welterweight champion Teofimo Lopez initially backed Crawford, not just out of belief, but also self-interest. He sees an opportunity. If Crawford beats Canelo, then beating Crawford could elevate Lopez's legacy. He also criticized Canelo's camp, suggesting they avoid tough opponents like himself.
Crawford, Canelo? I still say Canelo.
I got Canelo too.
I still say Canelo. Ring IQ, I believe that Crawford has a bit more.
Yeah.
However, it's just the size difference. I think that where Crawford is lacking is that he should test the waters even with somebody at that weight class before facing Canelo. But hey, They say he's a dog. He's got shot in the head and drove to the hospital. So
Renowned trainer Stephen Breadman Edwards emphasized a key point. Anyone can get hurt. He noted that even legends like Evander Holyfield and Roberto Duran have been stunned. While Canelo's chin is solid, Edwards reminded fans that Crawford has a knack for delivering the perfect shot at the perfect moment.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this in the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now.
Edwards also dismissed concerns about Crawford's inactivity. Unlike many boxers who need warm-up fights, Crawford returns sharp, even after long breaks. Edwards sees him as a rare fighter whose internal rhythm never falters.
You know, he's just moving. But his movement is good, to be honest.
Yeah. What do you do when there's a fighter that comes to not win, but last? You've just heard, we can hear now, Canelo has won the fight. What do you do when someone comes to last the distance and not try and win?
What should do or what?
Yeah, how does Canelo avoid this? Because it happened, he feels, against Berlanga, and 90% of
The predictions reveal a divided opinion. Some highlight Canelo's strength and experience at higher weights. Others point to Crawford's intelligence and adaptability. Sanchez underscores size advantages. Atlas emphasizes hunger. Lopez sees opportunity, and Edwards highlights timing as the great equalizer.
Manny, what do you think about Canelo versus Crawford? Crawford's moving up like 20 pounds. What do you think? Good.
Good for Canelo.
Good for Canelo?
What's striking is that, despite being the smaller man, Crawford isn't being seen as a typical underdog. He's viewed as a legitimate threat, an apex predator invading new territory with the intent to dominate.
Last question, Mr. Boozy. Canelo Alvarez, William Skull.
Right.
Canelo landed, I think that broke the record for the most punches, the least punches thrown and the least punches landed in the 12-round fight. I think Canelo landed 55 punches.
Right.
William Skull used a lot of movement. People were calling it running.
Same like us?
You told me that Terence Crawford and Canelo was a 50-50 fight. You told me Terence Crawford had a chance.
Right.
Me, I was leaning towards Canelo because of the size.
Canelo's recent fight against William Skull raised eyebrows. While he won convincingly, the fire seemed missing. Atlas and others believe this may signal complacency, comfort replacing hunger. Meanwhile, Crawford still fights like a man chasing greatness.
With Crawford going up, I believe he can put a beating on anybody 154, 160.
But not 68.
Nah, Benavidez is...
Oh, Canelo. Yeah.
Oh, Canelo. I think he's a smart fighter. He doesn't rely on his power. Crawford ain't a fighter who just relies on his power. And then Canelo, you know, when he's fought Berlanga, then fought Ryder, Munguia. It's even. I think it'd be a 50-50 fight if Crawford fought Canelo.
Middleweight Kun Davis, who has sparred with both fighters, provided unique insight. While praising Crawford's skill, he favored Canelo due to natural size and comfort at 168 pounds. Davis believes physical realities, like weight and bone density, could pose a major hurdle for Crawford.
Canelo, because even if I have some doubts and misgivings about the size matchup, it is two action fighters who like to fight aggressively at times, not all the times, going against each other, and we'll see who can open the other person's tuna can, so to speak.
Promoter Eddie Hearn speculated that the Crawford bout might mark the end of Canelo's peak. After a lackluster showing against Skull, Hearn questioned Canelo's motivation, suggesting that financial incentives, not legacy, may be driving him now.
fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, you can't.
Promoter Eddie Hearn speculated that the Crawford bout might mark the end of Canelo's peak. After a lackluster showing against Skull, Hearn questioned Canelo's motivation, suggesting that financial incentives, not legacy, may be driving him now.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later.
Teofimo Lopez later flipped his pick to Crawford, citing personal aspirations. If Crawford beats Canelo, Lopez sees a clear path to fame. His shifting opinion highlights how fighters think strategically about their own legacies. Rising star Shakur Stevenson boldly declared that Crawford will dominate Canelo. Dismissing the size difference, Stevenson argued that Canelo isn't particularly tall for his weight class and lacks reach. He values Crawford's skill set and adaptability far more than raw power. Stevenson also referenced a conversation with Jaron Boots Ennis and his father, suggesting they too believe Crawford can hurt Canelo. Stevenson warned that underestimating Crawford's power could be a costly mistake. Even fighters with granite chins can be dropped.